y'all. Day 40. Oh, today is exciting because we are covering the gene key that we are in. And I've been thoroughly enjoying my investigation of this key and uh, recognizing the people that have it and how I see it show up in them. And it's been a beautiful contemplation so far. So I'm pulling up the dates for you now. August 16th, 2024. Until August 22nd, 2024, we are transiting through Gene Key 29. Oh, so beautiful. I've got some notes and books and goodies to share with you, and I'll invite you to center ground, take a deep breath, and prepare to um, welcome in some beautiful information that might assist you and your loved ones this week as you navigate through the opportunity of leaping into the void. Got my cacao. Thank you, cacao. Okay, so 29th gene key. We are moving from the shadow of half-heartedness to the gift of commitment to the city of devotion. And perhaps I'm so excited about this because my word is for the year is devotion. And so, of course, this key is speaking to that literally. So let's talk about it. 29th gene key represents the power of being committed to the present moment with heart. And as we commit to releasing judgment and expectation, the love of our heart is freed to embrace all life forms. This 29th key is all about making luck. When we are no longer drawn into making decisions from emotions or desire, the conditions for good fortune flow towards us with ease. Beautiful. So, per usual, we will move from the shadow to the gift to the city. So, shadow of half-heartedness, a half life, a life half lived. The 29th shadow of half-heartedness results from the fear of commitment, mostly because we don't know where our decisions will lead us. It occurs most often when we are not honest with ourselves and others. That's when our life force withdraws. We postpone our life because we are not fully living it. We're too busy trying to run ahead in our minds, and we're missing the moment. Most often, half heartedness holds us back from achieving our greatest destiny, which is to give ourselves completely to every experience without expectation, especially in our relationships. Imagine being committed to listening for the yes inside your being and trusting in that above all else. What kinds of life experiences would you most love to be saying yes to? And I love that it's speaking about this because the 29, if I'm not mistaken, is connected to um, the sacral, and I'm going to actually double check myself. Yes, it's a sacral gate in human design, and so that's interesting that some of the terminology is already speaking about honoring your yes and honoring your no, because for a lot of us, majority of us, about 70% of the population, we are energy beings, meaning we are defined sacral beings. And our yeses and nos come from the sacral, which is where that gate or 29th gene key is. So I have a few things highlighted that I want to cover with the shadow. Um, this is from the Gene Keys Bible by Richard Rudd. You can find it on Amazon. It is amazing. The 29th gene key is about human feelings. It's about sex and relating, failure and success, desire and expectation. No matter who you are, your life depends on your honoring the laws of this gene key. When you do something half-heartedly, you are actually behaving dishonestly. You may not be literally dishonest with others, but you are being dishonest with yourself and with life, and this always has unpleasant consequences. The 29th shadow is a wake up call to all human beings. How clearly you hear the message depends on how deeply asleep you are. Commitment operates within a cycle, and at the end of its cycle, it either automatically renews itself or it lets go and commits to something else. These cycles can be of different lengths. The cellular cycle lasts for 7 full years, since that is how long it takes for the body to replace all of its renewable cells. True commitment within a cycle of time, therefore, lasts 7 years or more. Cycles of desire can last much less. Um, but each has its own built in timing mechanism. Human beings must work through their desire cycles until they reach a natural completion. Unfortunately, there is no simple way to know when something will end. You need to remain committed until the play has ended of its own accord. If you break out of a cycle prematurely, your life will reconstruct the same patterns of experience until you actually finish the cycle and learn the lessons it holds for you. If you aren't thinking of dating, you should, because it's a really good example. When you end a relationship and then you end up dating someone else that is the exact same person but in a different meat suit, yeah. The 29th shadow keeps most human beings in repeating patterns because they do not follow things through to their natural endings. True commitment includes the energy to overcome obstacles and adversity. Half heartedness is about giving up at the first sign of trouble or discomfort, and ultimately, all half heartedness is rooted in deep, unembraced fear. The lesson that comes from the 29th shadow is really simple. If you quit something too soon, you will stay in the same old loop. But if you follow experiences through to the end, you will make quantum leaps both in terms of your good fortune and your fulfillment. A few more nuggets here on the shadow. To live half heartedly means that you never fully embrace and trust your decisions. This shadow makes you constantly worry about your decisions and where they might or might not lead you. The great illusion of failure and success is that they are simply inner attitudes linked to your beliefs about yourself. To move beyond the domain of this 29th shadow, you will have to let go of all such ideas and allow life to catapult you. Oh, oh my God, I've been yawning so much on these, it's kind of crazy. Allow life to catapult you into and through the abyss of the unknown. You must hold back nothing and be totally honest, both with yourself and others. There are so many rewards and fruits waiting for you if you can stand by your decisions and follow them through to their natural, organic conclusion. So, there are two aspects of this shadow of half heartedness: repressive or reactive. Repressive is overcommitting, reactive is unreliable. So the repressive nature, overcommitting, these people are conditioned not only to make commitments, but also to keep them no matter what happens. In other words, these people are unable or unwilling to recognize when natural cycles are over. Such a nature takes on far more than it is capable of handling and then becomes gradually exhausted by the magnitude of its commitments. These people often become victims of others, or they become slaves of large organizations. Because of the fear in their nature, they do not have the courage to admit when something needs to end, and they continue to allow others to abuse them, either consciously or unconsciously. Reactive nature, unreliable. When the 29th shadow is played out through a reactive nature, it hides a deep fear of commitment that is seen by others as a lack of reliability. When one does something without true commitment, then one can rarely follow through an action or a cycle with confidence and competence. The usual result is the breaking off of the cycle and a consequent disappointment and sense of failure or shame. These are natures that may say yes to all kinds of things, but then react to the pressure by pulling out of their commitments. The anger inherent within their nature is usually triggered by someone else's expectation of them, and thus they tend to talk things up whilst lacking the ability to deliver on their promises. Now, let's move into the gift. Gift of commitment. Opening up to good fortune. True commitment is a deep trust in where we are at now, with an ever deepening commitment to the present moment. This involves a true turning inward and a slowing down inside. Commitment is always decided in the now. After all, how is it possible to commit to the future? The future is not here, and our energy is not available to respond to it now. Again, referring to sacral energy with this language. So, how can we commit to the present moment with authenticity? We can only know that truth in the now. Excuse me. Another yawn. And how can we open up to good fortune? We can commit to being courageous when life offers us challenges. Practically any circumstance can be used to learn how to keep our hearts open. And once we've learned that trick, we become masters of the game of life. So it says, commitment is akin to trust, which can neither be forced nor willed. It flows like a great river from deep within your being and out into your actions. With commitment, you have no need to think about the future or the goal because the commitment contains the seed of the goal within it. Only time will show where the river of each cycle of experience will lead. Thus, for the 29th gift, the goal is not what is important. What really matters is the commitment to keep following the journey until its end. Life is latticed with cycles within cycles. Some journeys last 5 minutes, and some last a lifetime. The ultimate journey is your entire life, and the shape of your life is formed by the millions of tiny decisions that are made over the course of your life. To live your entire life with this profound level of commitment means to make every decision with the same commitment, from the way you have sex to the way you wash the dishes. A clear decision is felt as a quiet and powerful warmth that courses through your whole being. 29th city, devotion. Devotion is the half heart, I'm sorry. Devotion is the heartfelt knowing that love is the root nature of all reality. It's about mastering the art of returning non love with love. This city also contains one of the highest teachings pertaining to relationships. Deeply connected to the spirit of Tantra, it's a surrender of the lover into the beloved. Imagine being totally devoted to loving your own heart, the lover within you merging with the beloved, and all that's left over is love. How would life on this planet be for you now? A true heart is a precious find. Spending time with your heart is like finding a beautiful old seat in a secret glade deep in the forest. What could be more important than taking the time to rest and enjoy such a special place? Now, I'm going to read about the city from the city book, Dare to be Divine. And I've linked it up before in other Phoenix Diaries, but I will definitely link it up again. So, devotion. The first city to open here is the 29th city of devotion. This means to care more deeply for God than for the small self. Devotion only happens when your self interest is completely out of the way. Commitment without the underlying love, which impregnates it, is not enough. Can you dare to devote your life to the service of others? Bhakti yoga is the science and path of worship. Worship is a deeply misunderstood word and is often maligned by modern New Age mystics. Yet, this path is open to all human beings and is probably one of the most accessible spiritual paths for people to identify with. You place your heart at the disposal of a visible or invisible higher being, and you make a continual connection to that being through your heart. This is the path of the devotee, one who is willing and ready to receive the master into the core of her heart and inner being. The major religious paths are devotional: Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, although Buddhism, other than Tibetan, may be less obviously so. These paths are based on prayer, devotion, and love for the divine. The test of true devotion, however, is time. Can you walk your path through all the challenges, blocks, and tests that come your way? Can you stay beside that person through heaven and earth, through thick and thin? Can you keep your wedding vow in the codon ring of union? This key is in the codon ring of union, obviously. The codon rings are mysterious groupings of the gene keys. They are genetic families which link us collectively in different ways. For instance, this codon ring of union contains the 29, 59, 4, and 7. All four of these gene keys concern the new role of Homo sanctus in relationships, and in all four, the lower triagram is water. The 29th city is a tantric path. It is the path of surrender through our relationships. It takes huge courage to walk these paths because love will bring you again and again to your knees. Ooh, that's really affecting me there. These are wild paths where few teachings exist and even fewer teachers. This is one of the new paths for the new human and for the new epoch. In a way, it's our new yoga. We yoke ourselves to these relationships and then we use them to transform us. We use the difficulty, the negativity, and the challenge to transform us, to purify us. The Venus sequence offers a specific guidance along this path. Surrender to the beloved happens layer after layer as the heart softens and opens. Dare to care enables us to use our relationships as a means of letting go of old karmic negativity and moving into a rarefied field and frequency, what the Sufis call fana, love as annihilation. The love which brings an end to the personal ego. Can we dare to care that much? Oh, it's a very, very profound concept to consider this devotion and what you are devoted to, and the relationships you are in, and the commitments that you are in. I think it was very apt that Richard mentions time when he's speaking about this key, because, of course, it's through time, and we know this because of how people celebrate marriage anniversaries in particular. I'm thinking of in my mind. It's a big deal. Um, and we know that it's a big deal. That's why it's such a narrative in our collective. How long have you been together? Or how long have you known each other? How long have you been talking? It seems to equal out to seriousness. It equals to commitment, to depth of knowing. And this is why sometimes we can make opinions and judgments about you're moving in together, you only just met, or you're saying you love them, it's too soon. We have this concept and awareness that through time, trials occur and there are opportunities to leave or to lean in, to be half hearted, to quit, or to commit. And there is also validity in the awareness of the 7 year cycle and how our cells literally become renewed. And what is around us might feel foreign. And that could be our relationships, where we live, our home, how we dress, our hair color, etc. And I actually think, speaking of that specifically, is very interesting. I think I had the platinum blonde hair um, for about 7 years. My last relationship was 6 years, and it's all perfect. I think it's all perfect. And there may be a cycle renewed again where um, the coloring shifts for me, or I go perhaps back to a place I used to live in and love it again, or yeah, it's interesting. But this key is one that we have access to for the next couple of days. So I implore you to investigate and feel into it and contemplate these words: commitment, devotion, and perhaps do a little review on your ability to commit and your language and narrative around commitment and devotion. And if you were to say a thing that you are devoted to, what would it be? And can you make more space in your day for devotion to love? Um, I love you all. Thank you for listening to this, and I hope that it offers support over the coming week. And I hope that you experience union with you, with God, with Source, with your heart, and with others. I'll see you tomorrow.